With police often too busy to tackle shoplifting, many retailers are turning to facial recognition software to protect their staff and shops from criminals. But what happens when that all goes wrong?
Well, Danielle Horan knows, and she found out the hard way. She was wrongly flagged as a shoplifter in a piece of facial recognition software called FaceWatch. And what it meant was she was thrown out of Home Bargains, not once, but twice.
We'll speak to Danielle in just a moment, but first, STV's chief reporter Sharon Frew went to see exactly how this software works.
Natalie Fullerton owns a convenience store in Glasgow. She installed FaceWatch, a private live facial recognition system to help identify known shoplifters.
It's not just a deterrent, it's like an AI friend that you need basically just to help minimise your losses.
So as I walked in, the camera captured my image. And if, for example, I was to steal a packet of biscuits and was caught either by the staff or CCTV, my image would then be added to this database.
If you were to then come back into store, it would ping. 99% of the time it will be a match.
And Danielle Horan now wants this software banned in shops. She joins us from Manchester. Danielle, clearly very distressing experience for you to go through this, to find out that your image was mistakenly online on this software. Although, to be clear, it wasn't the software which had made the mistake. It wasn't that they had misidentified you. This was a human error in putting your picture and the false accusation against you into the computer. So it was a person's fault, not the technology's fault.
Yeah, I was obviously accused of stealing in the shop, and I was asked to leave the shop on that occasion, and I wasn't aware of FaceWatch. So I went away and looked into it a little bit more and emailed Home Bargains, and after a few days didn't get very far. So I did go into my local store and was asked to leave again by the area manager and the manager, and I was really embarrassed on both occasions, and felt quite worried about the accusations and what I may have done. Apparently it was a staff error. The staff had allegedly said that I'd stolen some items, which I hadn't. So I spent quite a few days, well, in total about 2 weeks, trying to prove that I'd not stolen these items.
So I think you sent us a screenshot from what FaceWatch have on you, and it says it's a photograph of you. It says female enters the store pushing a trolley, picks items, put them inside the trolley, including multi-packs of tissue papers, heads to the till, declares items to pay, but fails to pay for the 2 packs of papers which are still inside the trolley. Crime committed, it says. Leaves with items. To be clear, you were never arrested, you were never charged, you were never prosecuted, so there was no crime committed. In fact, there was no evidence that you hadn't paid for the tissue paper at all.
No, none at all. So I was quite horrified when I'd seen this image of myself and what I apparently had done. So I did try to defend myself on the second occasion of going in the shop. And did say I'd be back, to prove, my innocence. And also, I was with my mum, who's 81, on the second occasion. And my worry was that she wouldn't have been able to defend herself. She would have just gone away and been banned from this store and not defended herself at all. And I think for elderly people or vulnerable people, this could be, it could be quite serious for them, or it could impact the health, the mental health, because it did bother me. I was second-guessing myself. Had I paid for the items? What have I done? Because for quite a while, I was unaware. Apparently, I was on the system from the 8th of May. Now, the first time I tried to go in the store when they chucked me out was the 24th of May.
And Danielle, I mean, the thing which is very shocking about this is if it had been, a police investigation, they'd have had to have evidence. They'd have looked at the receipt or what was on the shop's computer. But it feels as though in this case, I don't know if you were able to prove to them that you hadn't done this, but they don't seem to offer any proof that you had. They just assert it onto the computer, and from then on, it's on this shop record.
Yeah, that's what I was really annoyed about and shocked about, because I said, you don't know who I am, you can't just do this to people. You know, the fact that they embarrassed me in front of people on 2 occasions, you know, I might have got over a bit of that, but the fact that these allegations and the picture of me that was circulating from obviously Home Bargains to Face Watch really did annoy me. And I was like, you can't do this to people. I will be back. I'm not going away. So I didn't leave it, and I did email, and I kept emailing Face Watch. They did take me off the ban for 1 day. So when they took me off the ban, I thought, thank goodness for that. They'll look into it now. But they reinstated me back on the ban the following morning, saying we're satisfied with the evidence. And, you know, basically you have committed this crime, this alleged crime. So again, that made me more annoyed. And I spent another 2 days emailing saying, I'm not going away. So I literally bombarded them with emails saying, I will not be going away. You know, you can't do this to people. What about old people, vulnerable people? You know, it's not nice to be accused of it, especially when you've not done it.
Face Watch eventually looked at the evidence, said no crime had been committed. But it's obviously, you know, been a fight for you. Danielle, thank you so much for joining us. We're joined by Madeleine Stone, who is a senior advocacy officer at Big Brother Watch, calling on the government to ban this kind of tech, and Dave Sumner from Face Watch, who says their tech is vital for shops to protect themselves. Dave, what happened, do you think, in this case?
What happened is a member of staff, security member of staff, whose job it is to monitor shoplifting within a subscriber premises, made the report and they sign a statement on our system. It's the same wording as the police statement. I've drawn it from that language. And they sign a statement attributable to them to say they either witnessed a crime or they have CCTV evidence of it.
But no crime was committed. Did not shoplift.
Because of Danielle's persistence. Now, let's be clear, Danielle did not commit a crime. But we're informed by a member of security staff that a crime has been committed and they have CCTV evidence.
OK, and as a result, Danielle is punished by being thrown out of the shop on multiple subsequent occasions and has to fight to clear her name, despite the fact I mean, this is kind of Kafkaesque, isn't it?
I wouldn't say that. Danielle made it very clear to us she hasn't committed a crime. So we then make inquiries with the subscriber and the member of staff and their manager. Are you sure about this? Because this is serious.
Why did they sign the affidavit? Why did they swear legally that something had happened when it hadn't happened?
Some member of security staff is looking at CCTV and for their own reasons came to the conclusion that the goods hadn't been paid for. My inquiries established with them that they'd been paid for on a previous visit. So on their initial understanding, a crime had been committed. As a result of Danielle saying to me, no, I didn't commit a crime. On the second check, it was then that the subscriber realised their mistake and informed me, and I removed her immediately.
Madeleine Stone, Big Brother Watch, very concerned about this, and you can see why. I mean, people being accused, not even accused, people on the record of security systems as having committed a crime. Now, in this case, clearly there was a mistake. It's been rectified. But the point is, shoplifting is a massive problem. We know police are struggling to deal with it and shopkeepers are losing tons of money. This is the tech that they've introduced to try and help.
Well, I don't think it will help, and obviously Danielle's story shows us how badly it can go wrong. And unfortunately, Danielle is actually one of dozens of people who've got in touch with us because they've been either misidentified by the technology or wrongly flagged by facial recognition as criminals when they're totally innocent. And that's kind of how the system works. There's no due process. There's secretive blacklists that people don't even know they're on, so they find it very hard to clear their name.
Can I ask you, do you know, in this case, Danielle went back to a shop she obviously regularly uses. But what if you went into a shop and then you didn't return? This would have stayed on the tech system because she wouldn't have known. And I wonder then if that is used in any way more broadly.
Well, that accusation of criminality, which is unproven, unevidenced and was false in this case and in other cases has also been false, is actually shared with with all the shops in your area that are also using the technology. So you are potentially looking at being blacklisted from all the, from doing your local food shop, everywhere you go, being kicked out, not understanding why. And as Danielle rightly pointed out, if you're vulnerable, have mental health problems, you're not going to know what's going on. You're going to be terrified and you might struggle to clear your name.
But are you really right here to because of a human error, slam the whole use of this technology? It's really hard to catch shoplifters. If there is a recurrent shoplifter whose picture is on a system and they can be caught, that's a good thing. Let's say the technology is being used to deal with people who are violent criminals, who are coming through a border, or people who are on an exclusion order going into a school. Are you really saying from one mistake, therefore all this technology should go and we should just be open to people doing those things without being spotted?
No, of course. I mean, there's loads of different kinds of facial recognition, loads of different uses of facial recognition. Live facial recognition, where it's plugged into a camera, everyone who walks past has essentially a biometric identity check.
It's okay.
Yeah, well, that is quite intrusive to have that in every potentially corner shop.
Right.
To have that on street corners, to have that, biometric passport-style identity check, to go and buy a pint of milk. I mean, even if it doesn't go wrong, do we really want to live in the kind of world, it's kind of Black Mirror-esque society where we're being scanned and checked wherever we go?
A repeat shoplifter who's done it loads of times goes into a shop and they're caught by CCTV. It's a good thing.
There's all kinds of approaches to shoplifting, and I worry that facial recognition is papering over the cracks of really a broken criminal justice system.
OK. We have to leave it there because we have a government minister, we're pretty sure, standing by. We're going to do the facial recognition in just a moment. We approached Home Bargains. They told us no one was available for comment.